I appreciate the phone call today. Let's go to Dayton and talk to Dave. Dave, 700 WLW, then Jimmy in Norwood.
Hey, Dan. I'm a avid WLW listener, self-described addict probably to it, and I like the job you do. I like the job, at least Wells Sterling does, all the, the so-called fill-ins, and actually the person I don't listen to is Jim Scott, ironically, but you're honest and direct and
even Jim Scott can't please everybody. So there
even
you go.
He can't. That's the guy. That's the guy actually that I don't listen to because it's too syrupy. But anyways, my point is, since you're on the mornings, you're a straight shooter, and one thing in the past when Fingers didn't have his contract renewed or McConnell left, you guys all have a gag order, and since you're in Darryl Park's spot this morning, just wondering what happened. Pull back the curtain, to use his term, and did he have a contract dispute or just parting of the ways, or did he do something on the personal level, or if you're able to comment. I like Darryl, but I like the job you're doing too. So just curious on the radio business side, where good old Darryl, what happened to that?
Well, Dave and Dayton, I like Darryl Parks too, and I'm sorry that he is no longer with Clear Channel. And I'll be honest with you, everything I know about Darryl Parks and his situation is what I read in the Enquirer in the John Kiesweiter column. What happens on the corporate level, and Darryl was a vice president of Clear Channel, what happens on the corporate level is something that is totally out of my orb. I mean, completely.
Was he making too much money and he got too
I have
high
no idea.
Up
I you know what? I could sit here and speculate, but that would be just pure speculation on my part. I'm being totally honest with you. And there has not been a single email or any directive from anyone here, from Chuck Frederick on down, from Reinhardt or Paul Mason or anyone else, that we are not to talk about Darryl Parks. I have not seen anything like that. So, but again, the only thing I know, if you want to know as much as I know about the Darryl Parks situation, find the Enquirer column written by John Kiesweiter, because that is the extent of what I know about that situation.
Okay, and lastly, what's any truth to McConnell starting the first of the year?
Again, those decisions are not run through me. I would be pleased and proud if they sought my input. Right? If they sought my input on those decisions, I would be more than happy to offer my input. But they were not run through me. So you know what, David, keep listening to your radio, because we're going to get some expert commentary on Darryl Parks from none other than Bill Cunningham. Bill, what's going on?
Dan Carroll, I got a little bit of a cold, but I think Darryl Parks listeners need to know what happened in an honest way. The curtain will be pulled back. This is what happened. I talked to Darryl about this a couple days ago. He left us to go to oversee 110 AM stations. So he was so good at doing what he did with us that Clear Channel recognized his talents and said, well, we're going to put you in charge of 110. Over the last few months and few years, big companies always reorganize and say, can we consolidate positions? And the ones they want to consolidate first often are, shall we say, highly paid executives, and Darryl Parks was one of those. And so it was simply a decision by Clear Channel to consolidate a position from 2 or 3 into one, and the one person picked was not Darryl, more or less with his consent. When I spoke to him a couple nights ago, he said to me that he had a kind of like a 3-year deal. The 3 years were up, and he was anxious to move on and try other things. And so, there's nothing more devious than that. But Darryl is happy. He's joyous. And he said that he wants to move on and do other things in radio or media. And it was more or less an amicable departure in the sense that he wanted to try something else. He ran radio stations beginning with 55 KRC and Us for about, 15, 18 years. And then he did 3 years on the corporate side. And just Darryl said, you know what, I want to try something else. And I respect him so much. I consider him to be like the Sparky Anderson of the big one. The guy's really good at what he does. But when you do a job for as long as he did the job, he's 54 years old. He said, I got 10 or 15 more years to work, and I want to try something different.
Well, Bill, Yeah, I mean, as you know, there are a handful of people in this business that are visionaries who are able to see around the bend what is around the bend before you get there. And talent like that is not going to go unrecognized for very long. And Darryl Parks is going to be fine. I mean, he's going to he's going to wind up probably someday, the way this business works, probably wind up being our boss again somewhere down the line.
Probably. And Darryl is happy. He is joyous. Clear Channel treated him extremely well. He's happy. I'm not happy not having him running around, but we didn't see him very often. I might have saw him once a month or once every other month. So and I saw him every day for. Well,
he spent most of his week at 30,000 feet flying around. Is that something he wants to move on from and do something different?
Yes, the travel, the hotels, and all that stuff was such that been there, done that, got the T-shirt. And he's such a talented guy. I mean, he's the best programmer I've ever been around, that the guy knows, as you say, what's around the corner. And Darryl Parks is fine, and he's happy. And really his main regret is not being on this time period, which he loved doing radio for this 2 hours on a Saturday. But, he's going to move on, man, and he's going to head up a large radio group. And this guy's moving on. And Dan, you've got to keep doing what you're doing, which you do so well. I mean, I've seen you grow and got so much better at your craft. And, man, it's fine. Darryl's fine. And I'm fine. At some point, I'm going to leave. At some point, Jim Scott's going to leave. At some point, you're going to leave. It's all going to happen. But Darryl left the way someone should leave, with complete class and with the opportunities. He's got many opportunities in broadcasting, he told me, and he's anxious to look into them over the next several months. And reemerge. And the way radio is today, I wouldn't be surprised if he's back with us at one point.
It very well could happen. And Bill, I'm up against the clock, but I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your insight today. And we all sit here and wish Darryl Parks nothing but. I mean, the guy had a great run here. There's no doubt about it. And he's going to have a great run no matter what he does next.
Dan, he's the best there ever was. God bless you. And nothing nefarious, nothing bad. It simply was time for Darryl to take the next challenge. And he did it, and he's a class act.
Bill Cunningham, you're a great American.
Thank you.
All right, Bill, we'll talk to you later. There you go. So there you have it, straight from Bill Cunningham, and he's a guy who knows, in this instance, more than I do. 9:55, Dan Carroll filling in for what used to be Darryl Parks' shift on 700 WLW.